and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Today on Kaleidoscope, the Vice President of Visa in West Africa, Kemi Okusoya, talks to us about life as a female tech personnel and how the activities of the organization is helping to add value to the society. Once again, welcome. Visa is a global payments technology company that uses technology and innovation to make digital payments a reality for consumers, businesses, banks, and governments. But let's tell you how it all began. Visa's journey began in 1958, the year the Bank of America launched the first consumer credit card program for middle-class consumers and small to medium-sized merchants in the United States. The global payments technology company working to enable consumers, businesses, banks, and governments to use digital currency didn't take long to grow. The company expanded internationally in 1974 and introduced the debit card in 1975. In 2007, regional businesses around the world were merged to form Visa Incorporated, and in 2008, the company went public in one of the largest IPOs in history. In 2016, Visa completed the acquisition of Visa Europe, and today, Visa operates in more than 200 countries and territories with products and services available on any device, cards, laptops, tablets, and mobile devices. As the company continues to evolve, the focus remains the same: to be the best way to pay and be paid for everyone, everywhere, with a corporate social responsibility initiative to help improve lives and economies around the world. I sat with the Vice President of Visa in West Africa, Kemi Okusoya, find out more from our discussion. So in the past, the fintech industry used to be male-dominated, but I can say that that narrative is gradually changing. We see females in the fintech industry now. As the Vice President in charge of West Africa for Visa, how has it been working as a female in the fintech space?
That's an interesting question and very loaded. I mean, if I think about myself and my journey in the technology space, in the financial services space as well, I still remember 10 years ago, probably the only one in management meetings and boardrooms. I think that has changed. And I think one of the things that I'm so excited about is the fact that that diversity is also bringing with it innovation. So very often people really don't appreciate the gender diversity, but it actually helps to see, even from a consumer perspective, things differently. So if you have all the guys in a room looking at a product, chances are they're going to see it in a different way. Bring in a lady, she'll probably just spot something that nobody ever saw. Why? Because it's a different perspective completely. And if you have a business and you're servicing not just males, then you definitely want to have, women as well in the space. Now, what have we seen with the technology space, with ladies coming in, what is changing it? I think it's also the advancement we see. So we're beginning to have parents, because we know that parents definitely influence these things. Parents are beginning to embrace, their kids becoming engineers, going into different spaces that traditionally were for guys. One of the things that I also love is the fact that when I bring it to Visa, Visa is very big on diversity. So we typically would, when we're thinking about talent recruitment, we definitely want to have a balance, because we really appreciate what gender brings into the business and how it continues to drive innovation for us. So it's been exciting, it's been fun, and I think it's just going to get better into the future.
So talking about getting better, what makes Visa a unique brand in the industry?
Oh, wow. So let's look at this. Let's start with our vision. We say that we want to be the best way to pay and be paid. Now, what does that really mean? When you think about payments, with us, everything you do is really kind of linked back to payment. And why do I say that? So if you think about every activity you've done today, you probably maybe picked up a drink when we were coming here, you wanted to get your phone airtime topped up, or you had to watch TV and you had to, renew your subscription. When you think about all those activities, it involves payment. Now that's where we want to be. We know that our business is right in that space where we're facilitating payment. Now we see ourselves as being a payment technology company that would ensure that when payment is being done, we want to be the one facilitating it, ensuring that for the consumer, we are meeting your need. And what are those needs usually? The consumer is looking for convenience, is looking for security, is looking for seamless form of payment, and that's what we stand for. So when we think about Visa, that's who we are. Now, taking it away from our vision and our core and what drives us, let's take it to what I like to call financial inclusion. That is a heart of all we do, because without bringing in people into that space, we continue to have, a set of people in our economies and segments that are just completely cut off. Now, what does that mean, and what does that do to the economy as a whole? It pulls you back, because you realize that advancement in credit, advancement in access to funds, advancement even in business growth will be limited to just a few. So when we think about our mission and our vision as Visa, we want to make sure that we're not a payment company for just a few. We want to make sure that we're in there for those even in the rural areas. We want to be able to facilitate payment for those in the rural areas. We want to be able to facilitate payment for those in the cities. We think about economies, because very tied to what we do is the economic advancement as well for a country. You would know that when trade is being done, then you're beginning to have a lot more productivity in the economy. And so what we do is to also ensure that commerce can be easily done. I mean, you can sit here right now and you open your own store, and it's easy for you to actually have somebody in Ghana making a purchase. Why? Because we are there, we're facilitating that. Or you have somebody that comes into your store to make a payment. They don't necessarily need to have cash. They can easily use a card and they make the payment. And that's what Visa stands for. And that's what gets us really excited, because it's not just about the business for us, it's about what we're bringing back to the economy.
So Visa is over 6 decades now, 60-something years. How have you survived through the years, and how has it been doing business in Nigeria? I know in Nigeria you've been here for over 20 years.
Yeah, getting close to 20 years.
So let's say favorable. Has it been tasking? Tell us your experience.
So let's start with the global, business for us. 6 decades, there's been a lot of evolution in payments. I think when we started with card payments, there was a time you still had to sign. I mean, when you think about it, I'm not sure the last time you used a card to make payment, you had to sign at the store, right? Because then that was the form of security and checks that had to be put in place. Over time, what we've done as Visa is we've continuously improved on our services, just studying the trends and just listening in to what the consumers want. And that's what we've seen. So over the years, we've seen that trend where the cards have evolved. We've had different types of cards over the years. And we've also now had different channels. So there was a time that payment would have to be a face-to-face in a store. We evolved into e-commerce. We've been able to ensure that you can sit anywhere in the world and make a purchase. And a lot of the global brands that are big on e-com would say that at the heart, the success of their business is largely driven by companies like Visa. Now, when you also take that forward, we've even moved into what we call, even on the e-com space, we call it the card on file. So you don't have to always put in your card details. I like to say that if you breathe, it's done. So you just have those recurring payments being done, seamlessly. And that is, again, another advancement we've brought. Now, again, we've now evolved into the world of contactless, where, of course, you start to make payments without even necessarily having to touch the device. Now, let's bring that home to Nigeria. How has it been for us? Like I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we stand for and we really believe in is understanding the consumer and what the needs are. Now, when we come to Nigeria, you can't dissociate the Nigeria economy from the SMEs. It's the heart of Nigeria. I mean, the other day, PwC came up with this report that shows that I think it's about 48% of Nigeria GDP is actually, is actually contributed by the SMEs. Now, when you think about that, even from the size of businesses in Nigeria, 96% of businesses fall in the SME space. And that is huge. So what that means is if we are not right involved in that, there's really nothing we're doing. So for Visa, what is it that we look at when we think about Nigeria? We look at the opportunity that exists, particularly in the SME space. Everybody has a side hustle in Nigeria. And so how do we continue to ensure that we can support that segment to continue to grow their businesses? We can support that segment to continue to ensure that they can make payments and collect payments in a seamless, in a safe manner, and also ensuring transparency and bookkeeping. Because a lot of the problem in SME space as well is you have leakages everywhere. And one of the things we've seen is when you can digitize payments and move it from cash, you're able to, solve some of those problems in that space. So we bring in a lot of that, advancement and expertise into the space. And so when we look at Nigeria, that is definitely a big chunk. It's a growing market. It's a massive market. We continue to see the potential and definitely excited about, giving back into this economy ourselves.
In 2020, Visa rolled out a CSR initiative across sub-Saharan Africa tagged Where You Shop Matters. What's this project about and what impact has it made on the society?
Oh, 2020 was a crazy year.
It was.
I'm sure you remember. COVID happened to us all. Yes. I mean, someone said the other day that I spent the whole year washing hands. Right. So when you think about it from that context, what happened to the heart of Africa? What happened to the heart of Nigeria, which are the SMEs? They were the most affected. I still remember a lot of when we had this initiative, the feedback from some of the SMEs. For many of them, it was just like an end to their business because they couldn't get their shops open, they couldn't get payments done. And that was why Visa felt, look, it is part of our responsibility as a company to ensure that we are doing the best we can, even in the space that we understand, and which is the payment space, particularly for SMEs. And so that was what, birthed the initiative around how do we start to help SMEs to continue to grow their businesses even amidst the pandemic. And so that initiative led to us, working with different merchants, bringing them together, and just bringing in a lot of thought leaders, experts to share their, a lot of lessons, tips on what they could do differently to grow their businesses. For us, it was just about giving back, particularly from an information perspective, from, a knowledge-based perspective, and just giving them practical, not theoretical, very practical steps on what they could do. Part of what we also did within that space was just helping even the buyer, the consumer, understand the impact of that single 100 naira they're spending. How are you helping the economy as a whole? How are you helping that merchant that is down your street? How that 100 naira that you've purchased to buy maybe a pack of granules from the store is actually not just helping that seller, but it's helping the community and it's helping the economy as a whole, and just linking it together. The other piece with what we also did was like a wake-up call, because other institutions as well kind of came around. It just brought that awakening into the economy to say, like, we have to help this segment. And we were very happy to partner with a lot of the fintech partners in Nigeria, a lot of the banks, and even Google, kind of just bringing in their own expertise to just ensure that we can have a great delivery back into the economy. So when we think about Where You Shop Matters, one of the things that we are really happy and grateful for is a lot of the knowledge sharing, and also about helping them evolve their businesses from face-to-face to online. So with the partnerships that we had with the fintech, some of the things we did was to ensure that a simple store can also have a way of collecting payments online. I mean, that was, for a lot of them, it was just an amazing experience because they never thought that would be so easy. So we're happy for it. And we're grateful that we were able to actually step in and just fulfill our own responsibility as well within the Nigeria space.
We have more for you on Kaleidoscope. When we return in just a moment, we'll continue the conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. The concluding part of my discussion with the Vice President of Visa in West Africa, Kemi Okusoya, reveals future plans by the organization to improve lives and, of course, contribute to the development of the technology sector in Nigeria. Now, one project that's of interest is the Visa contactless payment solution, and this will be launched in Nigeria very soon. What is this project about?
You would remember that I mentioned earlier around the evolving trends in the economy. Payment has evolved over time. COVID also helped us see a big change and shift. I mean, there was this COVID impact tracker assessment globally, and 71% of consumers said they used or they did payment online for the first time ever during COVID. So that whole experience has also kind of just facilitated or accelerated the adoption of contactless payments. And what is contactless payments? It's riding on the what's called radio frequency identification or near field communication technology, where you can use your card to make a payment without having to dip into the POS. So it's just a tap. People may have experienced that maybe at train stations outside of Nigeria, at car parks. So that's the technology we're bringing. Now, why is it so exciting for us? Because I envision the time where you can easily buy your roasted corn on the road with just a tap, right? Because it's the rail that would allow quick, fast payments to start to happen. So this has already been adopted in many markets. It's coming into Nigeria. We're working closely with the government of Nigeria, Central Bank of Nigeria, and the partner banks to bring this, to the market in the next few weeks. What we also see is the fact that in Kenya, when it was launched, and incidentally, they launched it just about the COVID time, we've seen an acceleration of payments. It's grown by about 88%. So when we think about that in Nigeria, we're very excited about what this would also bring. So it's going to be interesting days ahead. We're looking forward to it and looking forward to, most importantly, how we can facilitate, drive, and accelerate adoption of payments on contactless in Nigeria.
One form of insecurity Nigerians are worried about, I am very worried about also, is cyber fraud. What is Visa doing to ensure that space is kept safe with technologies, of course, to also help the economy and help payments for those who want to make payments online?
I mean, everyone has a right to be worried, but that's why we're always so proud at Visa that we continue to advance our technologies to give our consumers that safety they need. So we say that at the core of every technology, every innovation, every advancement that we bring into the market, there are three things. It's about trust, it's about safety, it's about security. That is like it has to be there before any other thing. Now, when we think about that, it drives every, you could call it action that we take in the market. Looking at our business, looking at the technology we've built, particularly in the cyber space, we see a lot of the technology that we've introduced, that we've launched into the market, riding on what you call the advanced encryption technology. So it kind of, you could call it like an envelope around every messaging that is going around. You also have the authentication controls, and then of course you have a lot of the risk and compliance management. So it's not just from the bank side, but we also have a lot of the risk and management to ensure that even the merchant and the consumer that probably don't have a lot of the technology like the banks can ensure that their money is safe. Now, do we do that alone? No, we don't, because that's why we also continue to educate the consumers that you also need to keep your payments, credentials and information secure, so that at any point in time, you also make sure that also for the consumers, they continue to protect their money. And so we continue to work with our banks to ensure that that information, that security, we could call it awareness, is right there in the market. So a lot has been done in that space. I mean, something I'm always very proud of is last year alone, with advanced technology, we're able to safeguard globally $25 billion from fraud. So that's definitely something that a lot of our bank partners are proud of, like, oh, with Visa, we can really be rest assured.
Let's talk about future plans. I mean, people are gradually beginning to embrace e-commerce, digital payment systems, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of people learned that that was the easier way out. Also, as we're driving a cashless policy or cashless economy in Nigeria, what's the future looking like for you? And are you ready for what's to come?
When I look at the payments space into the future for Nigeria, I think it's a massive opportunity, not just for Visa, but even for the businesses, the merchants, and the players in the ecosystem. I mean, there's a whole lot of technology out there now that we have in the pipeline and that we've already launched that would advance this. So I'll give an example. I spoke earlier about how payments become seamless. So a time will come where you just drive down to the gas station, the filling station, and all you do is a button and you're done. You don't need to make a payment, right? Once you put in, top up your gas, you're done. You don't need to make any payment because everything is already automated. You want to top up your groceries in the house, you press a button on your refrigerator and it's already dispatched to your house. But even closer to the next few months, we spoke earlier about contactless. The beauty of contactless is that it's not just going to be card-based. So even with your phone, that mobile phone that we've all become so addicted to, you just tap it and the payment is done. And that's some of the very exciting things. So even your ring, your wearables can become a next form of payment. So very interesting days ahead. I think it's the innovation itself would also just accelerate a lot of the financial inclusion we want, because increasingly you start to have cheaper forms of payment in the market. So exciting days ahead for everyone. As we go on in Visa, go on into the market, Nigeria remains a very important market to us. And apart from the business side, for us it's about responsibility, it's about giving back to the economy, it's about growing the economy however we have to. So it's our obligation as Visa, and we're just excited about the days ahead, just being able to work with governments to support the small businesses in the Nigerian economy.
And this is where we draw the curtains on Kaleidoscope for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can watch past editions of the program. Just go to youtube.com/channelsweb, click on playlist, and you find various editions of the program. I'll see you again soon. Stay safe. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Thanks for watching.